Who is Crux Deluxe? In today's video, we're going to find out together. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dale of Dale's Leatherworks, your favorite internet flat earther, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a new brand that I had never heard of up until about a month ago, thanks to my buddy Mario at Boot Reaper, who is always on the hunt for new and exciting makers. These are going to be Mario's boots. I'm going to be shipping these off to him here shortly. So this is going to be the Crux Deluxe Monkey Boot. We're going to get into the insanity that this build is. But real quick, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I'm always cranking out new boot reviews, tracking down new makers, trying to call attention to new makers who don't have a ton of money to spend on advertising and to really put their name out there. But thanks to social media, thanks to Instagram, thanks to YouTube, we could shine light on these small brands that are just getting started. Speaking of brands that are just getting started, this brand, Crux Deluxe, has been knocking out home runs since the get-go. Now, to my knowledge, they are a fairly new operation, just started in the past year or so. Its CEO is a super nice guy. His name is Rowdy Day, which is just the coolest name I've ever heard in my life. Much better than Buck Bob Horse Greaser or whatever my hillbilly name turned out to be. And what's really cool about this operation that I really appreciate is that Rowdy Day is actually working alongside Abay Kutub, the master bootmaker at Tahura Boot Company, who I have reviewed in the past, who made me these in MARYAM Olive HORSERUMP. Absolutely one of the craziest overbuilt pairs of boots that I've ever owned, as well as these bad boys. These are in Horween natural double horse front. Absolutely in love with these. As you can see, Abay is a master bootmaker, master craftsman, and so I'm happy to give him a shout out in this video, and really happy to see Rowdy working with him. I think that is so cool. And so let's get a little bit into the unboxing experience. So what's really neat is the boots were super well packaged. When I opened them up, I couldn't believe how well and carefully packaged they were, in beds of tissue paper and whatever you call this type of paper. It's almost like a chain link fence in a way, the way that it's like slit open and everything. It's got tons of slits in it. Alright, so they came with a spare set of laces and this manila envelope. Thank you, Dale and Mario, Rowdy and Abay. It also came with this gasoline MARYAM horse butt belt snapper, which is super neat. I actually clipped it onto my belt during the filming of the outside footage. What a cool idea. You could really use this to dangle your keys from, or anything else that you need to carry around. As an EDC nut myself, I'm a big fan of dangling things from my belt. I hate putting things in my pocket unless they're really small, like my nicotine here. That can go into my pocket or my wallet, but I do not like putting keys in my pockets at all. My pants are tight enough as they are. It came with this amazing order configuration form where they printed out on cardboard all the specs. So let me go over the specs real quick. Customer Mario, order number 231075, serial number MMM0824003, which is also inscribed on the inside of the boot, as well as the size 9EE. So we've got a monkey boot model. It's built on the Hank Jr. Last, size 9EE. Leather details, yeah, Muschio horse rump from MARYAM Tannery. It is glazed. We've got 7 regular eyes, 3 speed hooks. We've got black oxide finish on the hardware. More on the hardware in a minute. Outsole, we've got a Dr. Sole raw cork outsole for the outsole and the heel lift. 270-degree flat welt construction, and we've got black thread. And then it says, as a note, please patiently wear and walk in your boots for 5 to 7 days to allow the leather to break in and form to your feet. You should expect a snug fit out of the box that will soften gradually over time. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any concerns or are dissatisfied with your boots for any reason. Rowdy Day, Product Director. And what else is cool about this belt snapper is it's got a copper swivel snap on there. I know that because I order swivel snaps for my bags sometimes. I don't think I've actually used any yet. No, I use the swivel snaps on my leather aprons. That just unhooks. You slide it through your belt, clip it down. It has Crux Deluxe embossed in there too. Beautiful. So I am going to be reviewing several builds by this company, but since this is the first video, I want to make this one sort of more brand comprehensive. I want to review the boots, but also go over the history of the brand, or the story of the brand, as well as the different builds that they offer, show you guys what they do, the different models that they do, because they don't just do these monkey boots. They do several styles. Currently, all their boots are made to order. They do boondockers, they do these monkeys, they do engineers, and they do jodhpurs. A solid lineup. I'm actually going to be reviewing each different one of these because Mario actually ordered a pair of each of them. So let's talk about these MARYAM Muschio horsebutt monkey boots. So they retail at roughly $700, just south of that at $695. This is a lace-to-toe style monkey boot with a hand-stitched baseball seam upper, built on our new Hank Jr. Last in MARYAM Muschio TPR horsebutt, with a shinky chocolate horsehide rough-out gusseted tongue, Dr. Sole raw cork brown full sole and trooper's heel, flat wax cotton laces. So when you order these, you have the option to, of course, select your size. You could also choose 270-degree Goodyear flat welt or 270-degree Norwegian storm welt. You choose your eyelet configuration. You could do 6 and 4 speed hooks, 7 eyes, 3 speed hooks, 6 eyes, 3 speed hooks, 1 normal eye. I really like that. And the hand-stitched baseball seam upper is just crazy. I have never seen a monkey boot built like this. So these are completely handmade, hand-lasted, hand-welted. So let me take a look at these. It's cool. They put this tag on there. It says it's the Monkey Muschio 9EE, and then it has the serial number on it. Crazy cool. I assume that this trooper's heel, I noticed this right out the gate, how this heel, see, this is a standard block heel at the back, but sometimes a heel type actually doesn't always depend on what the shape of the heel back here. Sometimes what dictates what type of heel it is on the boot, we're talking about the interior portion of it. And so in this case, you can see pretty clearly that there's this outward slant, and it's also concave when you look at it here. So I guess this is known as the trooper's heel, which is super cool. On there, it says Dr. Sole in raised relief there, which is super awesome. This baseball seam upper. I don't have a baseball on hand. I guess that doesn't make me a real American. But I've never seen anybody do something like this. This is really cool. It's purely stylistic. They definitely cut the seam into the Muschio horsebutt and then did this baseball seam stitch configuration, basically starting at the edge of the front of the vamp panel, and then extends all the way to the back, and it's like that on both sides. That would have had to be done by hand, and that would have been a lot of work. I can only imagine how much time went into these, and that's purely a cosmetic thing and purely something that the maker did not have to do. It's just something that they elected to do by hand. We've got military spec eyelets all the way up, and they're small in order to house these flat wax cotton laces. We've got a roll top collar at the throat. What's really cool is you're not getting one but two different amazing horse butt tanneries in this boot, because the tongue is a shinky chocolate horse butt with the reverse side facing out. On the inside of the tongue, it's got a Crux Deluxe patch sewn in there. Awesome. It is unlined in the portions that I could see. I assume it's probably lined up here in the vamp though. The back heel stay is super stylish, and I like it because it's not a typical back heel stay that I normally see. Normally, when I see a back heel stay like this, it's completely curved, but in this case, it's actually got points. As we rise to the ankle, it's more of like a 90-degree cut there, so it's sharp, and then it extends all the way up the back of the boot. This Muschio horse butt is so cool. I've seen Viberg use Muschio before. Muschio is actually the Italian word for moss, and that's a super cool color for it, because it's definitely a nice earthy, mossy brown color. The last that these are built on is a very nice rounded out last, and overall cosmetically, I really love the look of it. I love the look of this cork outsole. They painted the veg tan midsole black, and that in turn marries up nicely with the black stitching across the upper, and then also the black military spec eyelets as well. And so overall, just from a purely cosmetic standpoint, it's really a home run. I really like the balance of black and brown coming together in this makeup. From an artistic standpoint, it's just incredibly unique with this trooper's heel and the baseball stitching, the rough out tongue facing outward. Just very beautiful and truly a work of art. I would be remiss if I didn't bring in a boot of mine that is quite similar. These are my Eastman Marine Raider boots in brown horse butt. Before I get to the comparison, Crux Deluxe was kind enough to lace these boots up, but since I am an expert leather worker, this is actually a service that I offer now, because not every bootmaker laces your boots up before they send them to you. Sometimes they send them to you with, they're like, oh, here's your laces, you lace them up. I'm here to offer a solution to that for your convenience, because I love my audience, and I love this community. For a low price of $25, you can send me your boots and I'll lace them up for you and send them back. Okay, so just kidding. Do not send me your boots. That is not a real service. I don't know why I said that. That was stupid. Okay. These are my Eastman Marine Raider boots, built by my buddy John Lofgren for the Eastman company, and there's a lot of similarities here. Particularly what's interesting is the horse butt is pretty close. The Eastmans are a little bit lighter brown. They're a little bit more porous compared to this MARYAM TPR horse rump, because the MARYAM TPR horse rump has a thermoplastic resin on the surface to give it a shell cordovan like quality about it, whereas mine, maybe the finish has started to wear off. So Eastman never identified the tannery from which this walnut horsehide came from. All they say is it's an Italian veg tanned walnut horsehide. So it could very well be MARYAM, but it could be another tannery. I just don't know. They never disclosed that, and for that reason I will forever remain in a state of ignorance. There are various reasons as to sometimes why a bootmaker chooses not to disclose the tannery. Sometimes they have a secret handshake, like a secret society, like a Freemason sort of a deal going on with these tanneries, where they agree, make a deal with the tannery, like, hey, you make me this leather, you make it only for me, so that I'm the only maker, the only bootmaker that can offer this leather to customers. And so the tannery's like, all right, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna seal it in blood, or whatever they do. I don't know, I'm not into that stuff. And they then offer exclusive colors to certain makers based on the agreement, and then that in turn that maker agrees to order so much, and it keeps the world It keeps the flat earth spinning, I guess. The glaring difference between these two builds, obviously, is going to be that the Raider boots do not have the baseball stitching. That's for one. The patterns are very different as well. The Marine Raiders are fully gusseted, whereas the Crux Deluxe are not. There's just a lot of style differences. I could really get into all the nitty gritty, but I'm trying to keep this review sort of focused on the Crux Deluxe. The outsoles are different. The toe pattern is different. The last is different. We've got double row stitching on the welt on the Marine Raiders, whereas we've got a 270-degree flat welt on the Crux Deluxe. Also in black. Very high SPI on these as well, which is really good to see. Different back heel stays. On the Marine Raiders, we've got two different pieces for the back heel cup and the back heel strip. On the Marine Raiders, we have a pull tab, whereas on the Crux Deluxe, the back heel strip is one single piece, no pull tab. So you get the idea. I just kind of wanted to bring these in and show them off because I wear these a lot, and I love lace to toes. I'm such a fan of lace to toes now, you have no idea. In communication with Rowdy, he gave me a lot of extra detail behind his brand and these boots. So I'm going to read off some of this. And he's been super nice, super accommodating. He's very grateful that I'm doing this review for his brand, and I in turn am super grateful to him and super grateful to this community that makes the love of boots so much fun. It keeps me going every day. I truly love it, truly passionate about the people, the products, the customers. I'm a customer too, you know. I review, but I'm a customer too. I have feelings too, okay? Rowdy says, thanks again to both of you, both me and Maria, for these orders and allowing us to do what we love. I wanted to give some quick updates on what you received this past week and what's coming over the next couple weeks. This week, the order of baseball seam monkey boots were delivered to you, Dale. You may have noticed that there's an extra ½ inch of shaft length, 7-inch shaft on the boot, and the pattern sections have a lot of robust character with a beautiful luster. Aesthetically, the baseball seam is designed to develop puckers in the leather where sections join at the seam and then translate gradually into rolls on the boot. Functionally, the baseball seam works for drainage and aeration, similar to original Scottish brogue patterns. Definitely corroborate that because particularly with like shell cordovan, sometimes being in some boots, just depending on how the leather's treated, depends on how porous and or non-porous, how breathable, non-breathable the upper leather is. It could definitely suffocate your foot, and it just traps all the moisture down there. It doesn't really breathe. Shell cordovan breathes a little bit, but for the most part, it's the highest density fiber leather in the world, even though it's not a leather. It's not skin. It's not skin. If it's not skin, it can't be leather. Just kidding. It's a leather, I guess, but there's room for debate in there. This Muschio TPR horse rump, because of the thermoplastic resin coating, it's not going to breathe that much at first. It's definitely not going to be the most breathable leather. By putting this baseball seam on here, it's definitely going to allow moisture to evaporate out throughout the course of the day while you're wearing it. So that is super cool. Yeah, especially like in the military, they are always teaching us like the #1 factor in your health when you're in the field is foot health. You need to keep your feet dry. You need to always have extra socks. You need to let your boots breathe. There's huge emphasis on this, and it is true when it comes down to your health, because if you can't walk, you're not gonna survive. It's just that simple. Coming soon, we'll be wrapping up construction of Mario's Jodhpur boots in dark and stormy horsebutt from the Guidi tannery. Mario also ordered the dirty horsebutt Guidi boondockers, which will be completed as soon as the heels come in, before putting a final Sumi detail finish on the boots and shipping that pair to me. So, like I said, I got all the good stuff coming my way in the next couple months. Rowdy also messaged me separately. He says, I'm more than happy giving you endless details. I might need to count on your questions if anything gets missed, but we're committed to being transparent at every level, with everything always up for discussion and reasonable improvement or development. There's a ton of info and offerings that aren't live on our site yet either. We've got plans for just about everything in the short and long term. He also says, I forgot to mention before, one detail is that the eyelets are military grade, and I get them from a small manufacturer in Texas. They're black oxide finished brass and wear to a golden brass core underneath the black. Yes, that is so cool. I love the military spec stuff, and especially, yeah, that black oxide finish will reveal brass undertones as they get beat up. These are not the cheap ones, ladies and gentlemen. These do not cinch down, which is good. The type Alden uses can clamp down. It's kind of annoying. You need to sometimes get a screwdriver to pry it back up just a little bit, but in this case, that will never be a concern. A little bit about their manufacturing process. No matter which workshop location, every team member works on every pair of boots that we ship. Whether it's leather dyeing, pattern cutting, hardware setting, sewing, lasting, welting, or finishing, your boots will begin and end construction in Long Beach, California, USA. Because of our agile and specialized team structure and process, we can service 3-week rush orders, custom orders in colors, and other custom requests only limited by your imagination. The ordering process is you choose your desired boot model and available options, then submit payment through the website. Once they receive your order, it's submitted for construction within 24 hours. When your boots are ready to be shipped, you'll get another email notification to confirm your shipping address. In terms of pricing and costs, it's one of our top priorities to enable the greatest possible access for all to enjoy our boots and products. Our prices represent the current lowest acceptable economic margin to cover our business and supply chain costs, which are significant due to their premium and sustainable quality. All customer orders ship from our headquarters in Long Beach, California. We are a registered California, USA LLC. Custom orders, let's do it. Send us an email at info@cruxdeluxe.com. Share your ideas. And what's really cool, I never see boot brands offering warranty on boots, but he says our boots are designed, built, and engineered to withstand heavy-duty work conditions and leisure activities. If any part of your boots are found defective in either materials or manufacturing, it will be repaired or replaced at no cost within the given time period. For the boot upper, you have 2 years after delivery. For the outsole, 1 year after delivery. Please note that this warranty applies to the original customer of each pair of boots and does not apply to any boots resold on the secondary market. Speaking of boots resold on the secondary market, on my website, dalesleatherworks.com, I'm always throwing new boots on there, both my previously loved pairs as well as boots for my friends. It has gotten a little out of control recently with requests. Typically, what I've been doing, instead of taking the product into my house, I'm just having my friends send me the pictures. I put the listing up on my site. If they sell, then I let my friend know, like, hey, it's time to ship the boots. I send my friend the money. I do have to take a 15% service charge off of that because that does count as income for me and my business, and so it's not a service that I can offer all the time, but it has gotten kind of out of control recently. I've had some people sort of try to abuse the process, and I'm a nice guy. I have a hard time saying no to people, and so yeah, for that reason, it is kind of limited. Check in there periodically because there's always some good stuff up there, including my buddy Mike Smith. He's got his garnet shell cordovan brass boots on there. They're in a size 6.5 triple E or something like that, 6 triple E. I can't remember, but he's selling those barely worn, so that's a good deal. So a little bit more about Crux Deluxe. Crux Deluxe is operated by two friends, Rowdy Day, product designer and native of Southern California, and Abay Kutub, master bootmaker of Tahura Boot Company and native of West Java. We work where we live and have converted our shared passion and years of making boots together into Crux Deluxe, an embodiment of the best that we've learned and continue to discover and build together in making heirloom quality leather goods that appreciate with time, wear, and age. With over 30 years of shared experience between us, we're eager and excited to offer you the best handmade boots in the most beautiful, sustainable, hand-dyed leathers at the most affordable prices possible. And as for sizing, I simply don't know because these are not my boots, but to give a size comparison that may or may not be useful, let's do right boot. So these are the 9 double E's and my size 8 Eastmans. That's a UK 8. I'm a 9 Brannock. Yeah, what I'm seeing here is, so these Eastmans are a size 8 UK, meaning basically a size 9 US. At true to size, I wear an 8.5 in most US boot brands though. Okay, so the length, yeah, despite the length appearing to be the same, I noticed that on the Crux Deluxe, the ball seems to be a little bit advanced forward. Yeah, they're just different shapes. The Crux Deluxe is going to be sleeker, and I could tell visually that my toe would probably come to the tip of this leather panel. The other thing to take into account is there's no arch really on the Crux Deluxe. It's a very flat very flat, whereas on the Eastman there is some arch curvature here, meaning that my toes actually come much closer to the front on these. So I could tell if I were to order these Crux Deluxe, I'd probably go with my standard 8.5, but they're very open and transparent about their sizing. So in other words, I wouldn't order true to size. I would order probably a half down, but again, confirm with them first, because there's a lot of trickery going on with, you know, sometimes comparing lasts and lengths is difficult. But yeah, being that this is there is no arch on these, the foot is just going to sit in there differently. And so, like I said, these definitely, if I would have gotten these in an 8.5, they'd have been too big. At an 8, they're perfect. I'm an 8 in Viberg as well. These at a 9EE, they definitely look like they'd be big on me. So take that for what it's worth. That's probably not the best sizing advice, but the good news is the guys at Crux Deluxe, they're extremely open to talking to customers and answering questions and all that. So listen to them, don't listen to me. All right, anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. This video has been a blast to make. This is a really fun build. I'm really excited for this brand and to see where they end up going in the future. Like I said earlier, they have short-term and long-term plans, so keep an eye on them. Go follow them on Instagram. Yeah, it looks like their first post was on August 31st, 2023, so a very new brand. I'm going to be covering the other models in future videos, just because I don't want this one to get too out of control long. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. End of transmission.